Ladies and gentlemen, I woke up this morning with a buzz. Something has changed. There's something in the air. Just one tube stop away from where we are sitting right now at Wembley Stadium. It might be cloudy in the sky, but it's sunny on the pitch because in the stands, Thomas Tuchel has announced on video that he's the new England manager. We finally have a winner.
Hi guys, Thomas here. Quite a bit nervous. It's my first message. As the English head coach, I'm at Wembley, where else? And there's also a reason to be a bit nervous. I think that's a good thing. I can promise you I'm very excited, I'm very honored, and I will do everything that we have qualify for World Cup first of all, and then we have a successful World Cup and try to get a second star on our shirt. All the best and see you soon in the stadium.
But we're going to break this down for you. I'm with my dad. You guys know we follow England home and away in the tournaments. You've seen the Euros videos, the World Cup videos, the Russia 2018. We can go back further. This is massive because throughout that time, we have only seen Gareth Southgate. Now, it's a world-class gaffer. Do you agree with that statement?
Well, Thomas Tuchel will be the third England manager from overseas after Sven-Göran Eriksson and Fabio Capello. It's a massive moment. He's getting £5 million a year, Theo. Yeah. That's more than Goldbridge earns. But he's gonna be manager from the 1st of January 2025, which is my first question to you. Why wait 2.5 months?
Yeah, that's a very good point.
I mean, what's going to happen in the interim? Who picks the team? Is he going to turn up to matches?
Let's be honest, Dad. Right now, the England matches aren't as important, and the FA have basically just agreed to that statement and said, focus a little bit further down the line. 2025, you've got the World Cup coming up in the USA, you've got the Euros at home. By the way, the final is at Wembley Stadium. That gives me goosebumps to think that we're going to have another chance to do it in our own stadium. Just imagine the scenes, imagine the party that night. It would be incredible. I mean, that Euros, I was so depressed on the tube back after that England-Italy game, but we have another go, and it could be with big Tommy T. And what's funny is, he actually signed the contract 2 days before losing to Greece. So, yes. You know, this has been in the build-up for quite some time. He finds it nervous, and do you know why he finds it nervous, Dad? Because it's actually the hardest job in football. It is the hardest job. The amount of egos and world-class talent within that squad, it's actually more than any other nation in the world. I'd say it's more than Brazil. I'd say right now it's more than Argentina. There's more egos. And Spain, even though they won the Euros, they're more together. This is a job that's so impossible because if it's done right, we win it all. If done wrong, he's going to get slated by the media. His family are going to get embarrassed and harassed. You know, everywhere he walks and goes, he can't go anywhere without being told that he's done this wrong. That is why people were just so cruel to Gareth Southgate. You walk into this job, you may earn £5 million a year, but you walk in to a potentially lot of abuse and also potentially break the curse that England have had since '66.
Well, we start with a debate about foreign manager versus England manager, Theo, because Big Sam, Harry Redknapp and others have come out and said, why haven't we chosen an England manager? What are your thoughts on that?
I think that's one of the most bollocks statements you've ever heard in my life. I want a winner. I was there in Estadio de Dragao 2021 where Thomas Tuchel beat that Manchester City super team with a Chelsea team that wasn't as good on paper. The odds were against them. Tell me the last time a Champions League final was won when the odds were against them, because the odds are the best way at judging who should win a football match because there's so many analysts behind that. The last time was that final, Dad. It was when Tommy Tuchel did it for an English team and he came in after the group stage. He came in just for the knockouts game and won the biggest club competition in the world. He is perfect for the England job, and I do not understand anyone saying that, oh, he's going to get a lot of stick because he's German, or why are we doing this because of the war? I've had enough. I'm fed up.
I don't think it's to do with that mainly. I think it's more to do, if you listen to Big Sam, you listen to Harry Redknapp and others, they're saying, surely, after Gareth Southgate, we had an Englishman, shouldn't we be bringing on another English coach? No. We've got the likes of a Graham Potter or an Eddie Howe.
No English manager has ever won the Premier League. And you want to go to England to a World Cup with an English manager. You want to go with Graham Potter. I'm sorry, that just embarrasses me. I'll probably end up on TikTok for saying that. I don't care. We've got a winner. Finally, the FA have dug deep. I respect Lee Castley because I think he played a big role in this. He did the job and realised, okay, we need a world-class manager if we want to win something. He realised that. He was the first person to turn around and say, I'm not actually cut for this. We need someone up here. And the FA have listened to him and go, yeah, And we're going to go for something up here. Anyone down in the comments, you can have your say if you want, but I completely disagree with you. I think our best chances of winning a World Cup or Euros is with a manager who's not from the nation, because they won't get stressed as much when it comes to a final. They can focus on the tactics. You think Tuchel was stressed out in the Champions League final? No, he won.
I mean, I agree with you, Theo. I don't give a damn about the nationality of the next England manager. I want us to pick the best person. I want us to pick a winner. And whether that person is from England, Germany, France, America, Australia, I don't care. But let's look at some of the other people that could have been there. Let's look at what we could have won, Theo.
Yes.
In particular, two names, Jurgen Klopp and Pep Guardiola. Now, Jurgen Klopp, apparently, the quote is, he wasn't interested. Couldn't we have waited? Couldn't we have made him interested?
He took a job at Leipzig. He could have taken the England job. He wasn't offered. He probably waited long enough.
Yeah.
Yes, he probably said no to it in the interview, but he said no to signing to Red Bull in 2017. He said he would never do, because of club tradition, he won't go with multi-club ownership. And now he's the head of football there, earning like crazy amounts a year.
So think about this. If the FA had real ambition, and they're paying £5 million, and I think that might be the highest salary in the world in football, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
They've got £5 million to spend. It's an incredible job. Don't you say, I want the very best person from a job. If you had I'm going to give you three names there. I want you to be honest who you'd pick. Jurgen Klopp, Pep Guardiola, Thomas Tuchel.
Well, Klopp's earning double that at Leipzig than he is at Tuchel.
Is he?
Getting,
Okay,
because the England job doesn't take as much time. It's not as fully intense. He doesn't have to turn up every day 9 to 5 at work.
But £5 million in terms of an international job, I think it's the highest paid.
In terms of international, it certainly is, as it should be. We're trying to look after a team that has more talents and more squad value than anybody else. But Tommy Tuchel has a lot of people that he wants to revenge. He's been at Bayern, he's been at Dortmund, and both of them end in bad terms. I think he is the man. If we had to turn over Germany in a final, it would be him. Reverse psychology. Think about it, guys.
Let's go back and look at his career, Theo, because again, it's very, very interesting.
Yes.
Age 25, knee injury, gives up football. So he did come from a sort of professional football background. He was in management in Germany at the likes of Augsburg, Mainz.
Yeah.
And that was very interesting because he went to a club that, obviously your first managerial role won't be at the biggest clubs. At Mainz, he did very, very well with limited resources, didn't he?
Correct, yeah. And then it was Borussia Dortmund as well.
Yes.
It's a similar route that Jurgen Klopp had, Mainz, Borussia Dortmund.
Yes.
As a manager, of course, but it's funny the link-ups
and
there.
This gets interesting because at Borussia Dortmund, Theo, his win percentage, I think it was 63%, was very, very good.
Yes.
But eventually he got sacked. He
did.
fell out with the bosses. And at that point, went to PSG, didn't he, Theo?
Yeah.
Won a couple of titles, won the quadruple, didn't win the big one there, but it ended before too long, didn't it?
Since PSG started as a club,
yes,
he was the manager that brought them the most successes, the closest to winning the Champions League. The dominance in France happened because of him. He brought a very good squad success in a league that he had to do. And in England, it's a similar story. We have a very big squad that should win competitions that we are not doing. People are laughing at us. That is the same sort of status as to why we hired him. But let's go back in time to Dortmund, because there's something that happened within the Dortmund managerial role that he had that actually made a lot of faces turn on him. And we need to bear this in mind, given that he's got the England job.
Yeah.
The reason he left Borussia Dortmund is because he was not catching up with Bayern Munich at one stage of his career. His win percentage was good, but it started to fall away.
Yes.
And he felt like the board were giving him a lot of stick unfairly. And he sent a text message to one of the players saying, this board is getting on my nerves. Like this guy, Mark Zoll, he's giving me all this pressure about keeping up with Bayern Munich, and it's not, he's just being a bit of an asshole to me. Well, he accidentally sent that text to Mark Zoll and not the player that he wanted to.
Yeah.
And the moment that happened, it was a reason for the chairman of Dortmund to sack him and say, you're gone. So he can be a little bit behind your back.
And this is what I'm getting to, because he went to Chelsea. Yes, they won the Champions League. We'll go back to that later. But eventually he fell out with the bosses. Then he went to Bayern Munich. Yes, he won the Bundesliga in the first season. Then he fell out with the bosses. The pattern there is he falls out with people. Not only the owners, the big guys, but also he fell out with the FA because of his sort of on-pitch behaviour at times. He got a lot of fines and touchline bans from the FA.
That's interesting.
And he fell out with players at Chelsea. I think he fell out with the likes of Pulisic and Lukaku and others. Is this a problem?
The amazing thing about England is if you fall out with a player, you've got a great array of talent to choose from. I think the interesting moment is Mason Mount this morning wakes up and he's got motivation.
Yes.
He's got something to play for.
Yeah.
The best manager he's ever had that basically made him what he is, okay? I would say the bedrock was Frank Lampard, but the growth of Mason Mount's peak was from Thomas Tuchel.
Yeah.
He now wakes up, Reece James goes, oh my God, this is an opportunity to get fit and go again because I know I'll get a look in with Tommy Tuchel.
Yes.
The amount of the different players that have been under Tommy over the years that now think, oh my God, this is great for us. This is an opportunity to show what we can do for England.
Yeah.
It's great for the battle. And when you have people fighting for positions, they only want to get better.
Well, I tell you, there's one side to the Southgate job that he was brilliant at. He was a wonderful politician. So he could deal with the suits at the FA. And by the way, I thank Gareth Southgate for
Massively,
what he did for England. He got us to two finals of the Euros. He got us to a semi-final and a quarter-final of the World Cup. That is overachievement. I can criticise him for other things, but, you know, well done, Gareth Southgate. You look back to the likes of Big Sam. He lasted one game with England because he made a colossal error. Okay, that was with the media. That was with a sting. Thomas Tuchel is a difficult person.
He is.
He's shown that again and again and again.
And he's a difficult person with a lot of money and a lot of say to talk back to the FA if shit hits the fan. Because once you give out contracts as big as this, breaking records in international football, he can sit around that board table with power. Because they can't just sack him.
Yes.
They can't just sack him day one.
Yeah,
if things fall out, good luck, lads.
Some of the things that could happen, for example, Theo, there could be a public falling out with the suits at the FA. Now, they won't step in and pick the team. That is Tuchel's job. And you're right, you're taking away the minefield of recruitment. There's no recruitment. You just pick the best team. The press will be looking. Now, he's got a great relationship with the press. Why? Because he's interesting, intelligent, and controversial.
Okay.
What he could do, I mean, in the past, he's been in trouble with the FA for criticising Anthony Taylor, wasn't it, the referee?
Right.
He got in big problems with that. He got into problems for his little handbags with Antonio Conte. He's done stuff in the past that he cannot do any longer. And there's little minefields there for me.
But when he left Chelsea, he was still loved by Chelsea fans. He is still a memory and a manager that they would have back. It's incredible. He got sacked, but he's still loved because he brought them the most important trophy they'll ever have, number 2. And now he's looking for number 2 for England. And by the way, in his introduction, he already speaking about bringing England that second star.
Yes.
Imagine that.
Let's talk about the positives, because apparently, tactically, he is a very, very good coach. And if you look back at the years at Mainz and Borussia Dortmund and at Chelsea and elsewhere, he's a pragmatist.
Yeah.
He looks at what he's got and he varies his formation accordingly. There are some managers who like 4-4-2, 4-2-2-2, 4-3-3, whatever, because that's what they're used to. Tuchel is not that guy. They call him Tommy Tactics, and it's not just about your players, your assets, it's also about looking at the opposition. Who is in front of us? And there's all sorts of stories. One of the stories I like the best, he's on a coach there with Mainz, with his players. He's like, right, let's watch a video about Pep Guardiola and his tactics at Barcelona. And the video starts and a diagram comes up and he pauses the video.
Yeah.
He spends 2 hours talking about this one graph in this one video.
To players.
To players.
On a coach.
It's all about the sort of the passing of Barcelona. That's the guy he is.
But think about that. For 2 hours on a coach, the players didn't fall asleep.
Yes.
You know, which manager has the power to do that? Clearly, people buy into his projects. Now we need England to do the same. We're very lucky, and actually I give credit to the FA for getting it done, because he's not been available for long, and they've already got him committed. I'm excited. Let's see his project. And guys, England, we finally have a winner who's in charge of our nation. It's exciting. Let's bring it on. Bye-bye.